What does this mean for Europe? First, new rhetorical frame, stealing victory. Now, the West is accused not only of sanctions or military aid to Ukraine, but also of trying to steal security from Russia. Second, imposing neutrality of Ukraine. The Kremlin promotes the idea that the only path to peace is the neutral status of Kyiv, which in fact means the rejection of sovereign policy and the recognition of territorial losses. Third, delegitimization of Europe. European leaders are described as weak, dependent, and pathetic figures, incapable of independent policy. 4. Using Western critics of NATO. Sachs's presence on the air works as a legitimization tool. The opinion of one professor is presented as the common sense of the entire West. Such programs do not simply comment on the news, but construct an alternative reality, where Russia is the defending side, the West is the aggressor, and Ukraine must come to terms with neutrality. In my opinion, there were very successful negotiations between President Putin and President Trump in Alaska. Then there was a meeting in Washington, in the White House, where the European leaders and their protege Zelensky behaved like obedient vassals, but at the same time they clearly said, "Mr. President, we adore you. We are your loyal followers. We are very glad that you are looking for peace." So here is this detail. Here is this detail, here is this detail. And the more you heard about these details, the more obvious it became that either these so-called details were intended to block any peace agreement with Russia, or even worse, to try to impose on Russia an agreement that would be contrary to Russia's fundamental interests, and that would completely contradict the goals of the special military operation. Imagine, the special military operation began largely because Russia could not allow NATO to expand to Russia's borders. So now the Europeans are telling us that yes, we agree, Ukraine will not be accepted into NATO, at least in the foreseeable future. But we want to place NATO troops. We want to place NATO troops on the territory of Ukraine. And we want these troops to be supported from the air by American military aviation, which would be good for this purpose to be placed in Romania. And at the same time, of course, the idea is to transfer to Ukraine even more military equipment, ammunition, intelligence information, to train the Ukrainian armed forces. That is, in other words, peace, according to the logic of these European countries, is preparation for a new war with Russia. Moreover, preparation in such a form that Russia cannot even object to it, because everything is in the name of peace, in the name of not shedding blood. It seems to me that Russia's attitude to such ideas was very clearly stated today by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. European countries followed Mr. Zelensky to Washington, and there they tried to advance their agenda, which is aimed at ensuring that security guarantees are built on the logic of isolating Russia, on the logic of uniting the Western world with Ukraine, and in order to continue the aggressive confrontational policy of containing the Russian Federation, meaning, of course, continuing to inflict a strategic defeat on us. Of course, this cannot evoke in us any feelings other than complete rejection. All these plans are connected, in essence, with providing a guarantee through intervention, foreign military intervention on some part of Ukrainian territory, and I really hope that those who are hatching such plans, either they are simply trying to somehow attract attention to themselves, but I hope that they understand that this will be absolutely unacceptable for the Russian Federation and for all sane political forces in Europe.